Hello YouTubers. So today I got in my MBRP Axleback exhaust in the black, and I will be putting it on my 2019 Camaro SS 1LE. So here is my 1LE. You can see it's got the stock exhaust, stock tips. This is again a 2019. You can see I've got the tire stickers on there. I put those on myself. Guys, they're not hard at all. I highly recommend that you do that. I got the orange to match the crush color on the car. I put some decals on here. I call my car Apex Predator. There's the quick walk around, and now we're going to unpack the exhaust. All right, so here is the box that the MBRP Axleback exhaust system comes in. You can see how well it's packaged. This is pretty heavy duty packaging, so they definitely do a great job of making sure that it arrives without being all scratched up and banged up. So here are the tips. The tips are in these boxes right here. One of these I opened up. Must be on this side. There we go. You can see, here's the tip. As you can see, it's in the black. As I showed you the car is orange and black, so there's nothing chrome on it whatsoever. So I'm going to do away with those silver chrome tips, and these nice black tips are going to go on there, and it's going to match the rest of the car. But everything's packaged really, really well. Everything you need for this. Got the Y pieces and the brackets. Just lay it out here. Now, what's nice about the MBRP system is that when you remove the stock muffler, if you're not careful with the system that you put on, you'll be going down the road and it creates what's called a drone. And it'll be difficult to hold conversations, to listen to your radio, because there'll be this background noise of the exhaust like a drone just constantly humming. Well, this is the piece to help prevent that right here. So you can see it's just it wires off the main exhaust, and it's just a kind of a tank and a baffle, and it prevents that drone. So if you get yourself an aftermarket exhaust, whether it's catback or axleback, you're going to want to make sure that it's got this feature so that you don't create a bunch of drone, and then you're 2 weeks into it, you're sick of it because you can't caulk inside the car. All right, so here, more of the pieces will continue. And then you get this little packet with 4 clamps in it, and a plate that they give you that you don't need with this system, but it's for the MPP feature, which allows you to adjust the volume of the exhaust system. But on this, the MPP is going to be disabled, so it's always going to be one volume. But so you won't need these brackets with this system. You get these clamps, and watching another YouTuber install this system, you have to be careful because there are 3-inch clamps. You can see it here marked 3.0 on the clamp. They're actually different sizes. So the video that I watched, he put the wrong clamp in the wrong place and had to disassemble it to redo it. So when we get to that stage, I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, you can see that I've got the car all jacked up now. I've got my jack stanchions up for safety, and I got the front wheels chalked because my driveway tilts towards the road here to make sure this thing doesn't roll forward. I've got my jack in the back, the block of wood up underneath this bathtub of a muffler that's on here for two reasons. One is it's going to act as an additional safety just in case, God forbid, this thing does roll forward. There's something additional here. Might give me a few extra seconds to maybe get out of the way if it starts to move. And the other thing is, as I begin to cut on these pipes underneath here, all this weight is going to shift on the muffler and fall forward. So it's going to help to hold that muffler in place as I'm sawing, so it doesn't put undue stress on the blades of the Sawzall, because where I'm having to cut, according to the instructions, is literally use this as a guide. This cross member that goes across right here, we're supposed to cut this straight off right there, flush with that. So that's what I'll do. And but once that happens, all this weight, it's going to shift and it may bind on the blade, causing the blade of the Sawzall to break. So this is going to help keep the weight distributed evenly so it doesn't crimp on the blade. Here are the instructions sent by MBRP, and you can see the first thing it says to do, number one, is apply a penetrating lubricant liberally to all exhaust fasteners, hangers, and rubber insulators. So that's everything that ultimately these hangers slide into, and they're made of rubber. So as things set, as you know, rubber sits, and it gets dry, it's very hard to move. It would be to slide that in and out. And so removing the old muffler, we're going to need to go ahead and put some lubricant on there so we can slide those hangers out. So now we're back underneath the car, and there's a couple of places. Here's one right here where this hanger, this is made of rubber. You can see it moving as I move it around, and we're going to take some WD-40, and I'm just going to spray that and let that sit in there. There's another one. Let's see. Sorry for making you dizzy. There's another one right towards, see, these are the tips, and right in between these tips, right here, there's another hanger. Starts here, goes up, slides through this rubber piece. So there we go. Get that on the back side. And hopefully that'll begin to loosen up and penetrate there so that we can move this around. And ultimately we're going to do the same to the other side. Right here. And right here. The next step, number 2, disconnect the wiring from the exhaust actuators located on both the driver and the passenger side of the OEM exhaust. So here we go. All right, we're back under the car again, and here you can see the MPP actuators. This is the valve that ultimately, see, these are connected. It's like a solenoid here, and it turns a valve up inside here, and that's what changes the exhaust note on the car when you select the driver mode inside the vehicle. You can see how these mufflers are routed. So inside this big tub, these are routed differently so that when you do sport or track, it routes it differently so the exhaust flows more freely. When you want it quiet, this valve closes and it routes it through more of this muffler and ultimately out this tip. But right now there's a, there it is right there, you can see it. There is a little gray clip there that needs to be undone, pushed back, and then this connection taken loose so that when we drop this, the connection is free and the valve itself will actually drop with the rest of the muffler. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, step 3 says using a Sawzall or similar cut the OEM pipes so they are flush with the rear vertical surface on the rear suspension crossmember. And there's the illustration. You can see we're going to cut it on the side of the crossmember that is closest to the muffler itself. And so let's get started with that. Okay, sorry about the wind noise. It's very windy in North Texas today. As you can see, I've cut through one side already. And what I found easier for positioning is taking the Sawzall, and actually the closest side of the muffler is this here, but it's awkward to hold it and get a straight cut. It was easier actually to reach across and do, even though I'm on the driver's side of the car, to do the passenger side of the vehicle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch around to the other side, to the passenger side, and cut the driver's side. All right, I've got both sides cut now. You can see they look fairly straight. At least absolute chasm that's left, because that's such a huge muffler. I mean, you can see the silver of the heat shield that's just up under the trunk there, and there's the actuator wire here. And what I'll do with these is I'll zip tie these up and out of the way. I'll put some black tape on the ends of these to keep them free from dirt and anything else that might want to plug this up, so it stays clean. And I'll zip tie them up out of the way on both sides. This bracket right here, the back hanger bracket, needs to come off when you're installing the new system. In fact, I think the instructions actually tell you to take it off in the beginning, and I didn't do that. They just, because everything slides out. So it's not taking the old muffler out. That's important in relationship to taking this bracket off, but it's when you put the new one in. You cannot fit this hanger, this piece, into this with this bracket attached and put all of this together. It just simply won't work. So you have to take this bracket off, then slide it back on once all these pieces in place. Just don't frustrate yourself with trying to do that. One quick note. So I learned that the hard way. All right, I'm gonna tighten everything down, and when everything's even, I'll put the tips in place, and then we'll pick up the video there. All right, well, there you have it. It's put a big smile on my face. I love it. The startup is much louder, the idle speed is much louder, and certainly when you get on it, the thing just, I mean, it just comes to life. So for me, money well spent. Install time, all said and done. I mean, from the time you jack it up, take it down and everything, you know, an hour and 15 minutes, maybe not more than an hour and a half. And again, none of it's difficult. So I highly recommend you do this yourself. You can order the MBRP axle-back exhaust system directly from MBRP, and it comes within just a few days. I mean, the delivery time was excellent. I think it was maybe 2 days, and it had arrived. So very, very happy with it. I can't wait. My wife just came out. She said, what do you want to do for lunch? I said, babe, we're going for a ride in the Camaro. So I'm going to take it out on the road, and looking forward to lighten it up a little bit. Well, thanks for watching, and you know, if you find it helpful, give me a like. I appreciate your comments. If you have any suggestions for anybody else that may be wanting to do this, make sure you put them in the suggestions section. Have a great day.